Hello and welcome to the channel. So recently I realized that I have quite the backlog of comic books, both physical and digital, as well as DVDs and of different superheroes and definitely a lot of Transformer stuff I want to go over. So I just want to kind of review some of this stuff, and talk about it. So today what we're going to do is read one of the Transformers comic books. Issue 1 of the Transformers Energon Universe. Now, if you're asking me, I still don't understand why they call it the Energon Universe, because I get that confused with the Transformers Energon cartoon, which is completely different than these books. But that's neither here nor there, right? So, yeah, we're going to get into reading this book, and there's one little thing I do want to say real quick before we read it in a bit of a disclaimer where I put down the ground rules for how I do this. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy this, and this is my first attempt at doing this comic book related content in quite some time, and I'm basically rebranding my channel for this type of content because I used to make video game stuff, and I didn't really like what I was making. I like video games, but I didn't really like the type of video game content I was making before, so I'm trying something new. Let me know what you think, and if you do enjoy the way that I do this reading and review, maybe consider, following the channel, subscribing, whatever you want to do, or just tell me what you think. But yeah, that's what I gotta say for now, and then on to that next segment where I lay down the ground rules for how I do this. Quick disclaimer. I will not be showing the artwork or text on page for any of the stories in these videos out of respect for the artist and the authors. This is simply a reading and a review of a comic book, or otherwise reading material. In this case, it's a comic book in this case, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, and I hope you will enjoy. Also, I recommend you pick up and read these stories for yourself if you're interested in these particular characters. So yeah, let's get started. So the first panel depicts a group of military helicopters flying out in what appears to be the desert across the sunset. But then we switch our panel view over to the Autobot Ark in space, barreling towards the Earth. It's clearly damaged, flames are flying off of it, and it's about to crash. Our next panel shows a U.S. Army soldier leaning over one of his comrades as he bleeds out all over the ground. And on to the next, where we see a damaged Optimus Prime. And the artwork looks pretty good if you ask me. You can even see all the little circuitry behind his eye where, well, his eye was apparently blown out. And he's looking in some pretty bad shape. Next, we see the launch of a space shuttle. And a kid saying, "Dad, wake up." As we continue on to the next panel, we see a young kid trying to wake up his dad at the bar. The last few images apparently were flashbacks to something, so it would seem. The kid says, "I've been looking all over for you, Dad." And the dad says, "Geez, Spike, don't scare me like that." So right away, we already have a pretty good idea who these characters are. Spike, Witwicky, Sam Witwicky, yeah. We know who we're dealing with now. And off to the side, some of the bar workers, probably the owners of the establishment, or at least one of them's probably the owner, are having an argument about something, clearly. And one of them says, "I saw it with my own 2 eyes. A fighter jet came down from space, shaped like a box." And the other guy who's just trying to clean the glasses is like, sure, Jerry. That's actually kind of funny. Sure, Jerry. I don't know why I think that's funny. The two bar staff members off to the side are still arguing, apparently, about this fighter jet, which I have an idea of who or what that could be, saying, it was white and red. I got a Polaroid of here somewhere. And the kid, which is Spike, as we've already established, is like, how long have you been here? And the dad goes, not long, not long. I had errands. Errands like getting drunk, probably. And again, one of the bar staff, who's involved in the argument, replies to Spike saying, since noon, Spike. And the dad goes, thanks for nothing, Danny. So we know the bald bartender guy is named Danny. Moving right along. So in the next panel, we can see one of those stargazer camera things, telescopes. That's what they're called. And the dad's looking at the telescope and his son, Spike, and he says, looking at stars again, huh? Where are you going? Isn't that Jimmy's? So presumably this telescope belongs to Jimmy. I'm not sure who Jimmy is. And the kid's like, yeah, Carly and I were going to check out the full moon tonight, remember? On top of Hanger's Rock. Carly. That name sounds familiar. That's gotta be the name of someone who's appeared in Transformers before. Man, I can't place the character, but the name sounds familiar. Then again, maybe I'm thinking of Carlos from Transformers Armada. I love Transformers Armada. I don't care what anyone says. That show was awesome. Plus, the minicons were really cool. I loved the minicon toys. That's why I always like, still to this day, love really small Transformers toys like that are around the size of a Hot Wheels car. I don't know. I just love that concept. Yeah, but I'm getting sidetracked. So, Hangers Rock, huh? What do you think that is? I have a few ideas. So here we have Spike in the next panel saying, doing this kind of thing, it reminds me of him. I think if he may be talking about that Jimmy guy. Anyway, and the dad says, why would you want to remember? And it shows a space shuttle going boom. So a space shuttle exploding. And then the dad's like, it's best to forget all that. And continuing along, we see Spike appearing to be a bit frustrated, saying, is that how you're gonna live now, just pretending he didn't exist? So he's snapping back a little bit. And he says, I'm not gonna end up like him, Dad. And then we hear another voice off to the side saying, am I interrupting something here? And now it's revealed that it's another random guy I've never seen before, saying, still need a ride for the night shift. And the dad goes, hey, Davy. And he says, yep. So it's another guy that's friends with Spike's dad. And Davy's like, are you sure you're okay to work? And then the dad, as he walks to the car, says, I'm fine, let's go. And he seems a little upset about something. And Spike's there like, Dad, wait. And there we see in what I believe to be Davy's truck, uh, the dad is sitting in the passenger seat, looking out the window, looking kind of angry, actually, if you ask me, from the facial expression. And he says, eventually you're going to have to grow up, Spike. Yeah, seems like he's having a bad day. Oh, here's a good one. Something you probably shouldn't say back to your own dad. I've done it though. And be like you, Spike says. Oh, yeah, I've done that before, and I've gotten in trouble for it. It's not a smart thing to do. This shouldn't be funny, but for some reason I think it is. I am very sorry for thinking a tense situation in a story is funny. I don't know, I can't help it. I guess I kind of relate to the type of arguments that you sometimes have with your parents. Uh, something's wrong with me. And the dad just looks down, closes his eyes, and says, "Let's go." I've seen that face before. As in, I've seen my own dad look at me in a similar manner before. Yeah, that's the face of disappointment. That is the face of disappointment and frustration. I've seen it. I've seen it a few times. If my dad's watching this video, uh, I love you, Dad. Don't get mad at me. Anyway, and the Navy, I think that's what they said his name was. I'm cracking up over this for some reason, and I can't even remember if the other guy's name was Davy now, but whatever. He's like, "All right, Sparky." On a side note, do you remember in a minicon that worked with Optimus Prime who was named Sparkplug? Because I think they named him Sparkplug, the minicon, because Spike's dad was also referred to as Sparkplug as a nickname at one point. Huh. I never connected those dots till now. Well, maybe I did and forgot, but I don't remember connecting them dots before. That is interesting. Huh. And the truck just zooms away, zooms off, and behind the kid, behind Spike, someone says, "That sounded rough." Because that was rough. And here we go. We're being introduced to Carly now. And Spike says, "Yeah, Carly, it was." And Carly just says, "Come on." And I gotta say, I love the artwork on I guess you call that like an old 80s style van. It's got like Gandalf and Conan the Barbarian and a big green dragon on it and a castle. I love that. That looks awesome. Now, I don't think it's actually Gandalf and Conan the Barbarian, but like it's characters that look like them. That is cool. That is some Dungeons and Dragons stuff right there, mixed with Lord of the Rings and all that good stuff. Like that is cool looking. And lightning bolts all over the truck. I don't know. I think this is my favorite art piece of artwork in the book so far. Is the old 80s or 90s style van with all the fantasy characters on it. That is cool looking. When I was a kid, I always wanted to like if I were to ever get my driver's license, which I still don't have, but whatever. When I was a kid, when I wanted to get my driver's license and I wanted to get one of those old like 80s or 90s style vans, where you could put a disco ball in it and have awesome artwork on the side. I mean, I'm not kind of guy. I like to, have a lava lamp in there. I mean, I have a lava lamp. I love lava lamps. That is the kind of van I would drive if I could get a driver's license, but I can't get a driver's license. It's a long story. Uh, Basically, I never actually went through the effort of trying to get one. I should have, but I also prefer to walk places as long as they're within a reasonable distance. And the dog is barking like a maniac downstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, and the van's got a spoiler on the roof too. That is a cool looking van. That is the best part of artwork in this whole comic so far. Now, if only that was a transformer, like an actual toy, or even just a diecast Hot Wheels car, I would buy that. Boom! I would just buy that. You know what I'm saying? That is so cool. Moving on to the next panel. So we're out in a trail, out in the countryside now. It appears to be, and it says in the caption, "Let's go pretend we're on another planet." Cool. And Spike's like, "The latest addition to the van is looking great." Yeah, that van is looking great. And Carly's like, "You like it? My dad got me a new airbrush. Super happy of how it turned out." Yeah, that is a cool looking van. Anyway, Spike and Carly are walking up the steps from some trail in the woods. Big trees everywhere. That is some Scooby-Doo stuff right there. It does look kind of spooky, doesn't it? And then in the next panel, we got Carly's like, it's still missing something though. Not sure what. And the next panel, so did you tell him about Berkeley? And Spike's like, nah, we didn't make it that far. Actually, no, I'm not sure which one of them is talking there. Because you can't actually see him. It's showing a picture of a mountain. And Spike's like, I know, I know. So yeah, it was the other way around that last panel. And Carly's, as they're continuing to climb the mountain, Carly's like, you shouldn't have to be afraid to tell him you're trying to be an astronaut. Cal is the best place to do it, so I assume this is California. Actually, that makes sense because I think the original cartoon Transformers was like. Actually, I think it was supposed to be in Nevada. Anyway, whatever. Um, so it's like I'll tell him soon. What about you? Are you looking at art schools? I looked at going to an art school once. Didn't work out. Okay, next panel. They're setting up the telescope. Carly says, my dad and I were pulling extra shifts, making the money part happen. It's not going to be easy, Carly says. But, okay, so there's a but. Carly says, I wish it was easy for you, Spike. I'm sorry about your dad, about Jimmy. And Spike just says, me too. And he looks very sad, like he's gonna cry. Which I guess is kind of understandable given the context. And then we hear a loud rumbling sound, and the telescope falls apart. The ground starts shaking, so it's kind of like an earthquake. Spike's like, whoa! And Carly's like, Spike! And now they're falling down the mountain, I guess. Yep. Through a hole in the ground, landing in a cave. Yeah, that looks like it hurts. And Carly's like, Spike, are you? And there's a pause, and they're just like, whoa. Okay, so what are they going whoa about? Spike's like, what the heck? He's like, where are we? Okay, so they fell into the mountain, landed in a cave or something, and now they're standing inside the thrusters of the Autobot Ark. Good thing the ship is out of commission. Because they're literally standing right there in the thrusters. If the ship were all of a sudden to turn on, you would be dead. Because you would be burned alive, like disintegrated by the thrusters. I mean, doesn't the Ark like use like some kind of like ion thrusters or no, like hydrogen thrusters or some kind of Cybertronian thrusters? I mean, come on. That's not a safe place to be. But at this stage in this panel, which there's a lot of little circuitry you can see on the panel, it they obviously wouldn't know that's where they were yet. And yeah, the panel zooms out, and there's just like more thrusters on the Ark than I remember there being. I thought it had four. This picture shows at least five or six. I didn't even think it had that many thrusters. But maybe I'm thinking based off one of the toys or something, or an older version of it from a different cartoon, different Transformers cartoon. I mean, I don't know. But there's a lot of circuitry details in this picture. Like if you like Transformers or detailed artworks, pick up this comic book. It's got a lot of circuitry details on stuff. And then Kari's like, we have to get out of here. What is the thing, Spike? And then Carly's like, Spike? And they're looking out there and they see Optimus Prime. And of course they don't know it's Optimus Prime yet. And Carly says, what are those? I'm not doing the meme. And then Spike's like, they look like, I don't know, some sort of robots. Yes, they are robots. Robots in disguise. Well, they're not in disguise yet, but they are robots. Alien robots. All right. And then the panel zooms out again, and yeah, there are a lot of not necessarily dead, but a lot of robot bodies. I mean, in the picture, I can see like Optimus Prime, Prowl, Soundwave, either Thundercracker or Skywarp. Starscream's closer to the front of the picture. Ironhide and Bumblebee are farther out back. Uh, is that Reflector? And then I'm not really sure. It's got an orange panel on his chest. I'm not sure who that is. And then there's Ratchets in here, and it actually looks like there's something flying towards them too, because they're in a hangar bay. Yeah, well, they're not in the hangar bay, but like at the end of the hallway that they're in is like a hangar door, so with theme. And then they got Teletron Run. The computer is right there, all cracked, and the screen's cracked, and it's all beat up. That's gonna need some repairs. It's got a joystick like an Atari on it. I love that. That's funny. It's got a little Atari style joystick on the computers. I don't know why I thought of that. And then Carly goes running off saying, "Over there! It might be a way out." And Spike's following. And then there's uh I think that's the transforming sound written out in letters, but it doesn't sound right. And Spike's like, "Carly, wait." Yeah, that was the transformer sound. And then we got, yep, that is a Jetfire or Skyfire. Again, depending on universe, which name they're going to use for him here. But yeah, Jetfire. That's what I call him. He's like, "My fallen friend, it is finally time. Had I enough power to lift this ship from the mountain trap, I would bring you all home." So yeah, that's got to be Jetfire. It looks like Jetfire, or again, Skyfire. He's gone by a few different names. A lot of Transformers have gone by a few different names. I mean, Optimus Prime wasn't always Optimus Prime. He used to be Orion Bax, and blah blah blah. You get the idea. Next panel, Jetfire, Skyfire. Again, not 100% sure what name they're going to go for here, but they're probably going to call him Jetfire. He's like, "I only had enough energon to trigger the earthquake and reveal yourselves to me." And he's holding some kind of device, or I think he's actually pulling it out of his chest or putting it in. I think it's what he used to start the earthquake, maybe, or maybe it's a floppy disk that he's going to use to activate Teletron One. Because in things like Transformers and all those old cartoons, like Ninja Turtles, and GI Joe and everything. Even Sailor Moon, right? I mean, if this is a floppy disk, that's going to be awesome because that's what floppy disk back in those days, in those old cartoons, was like the way to save or destroy the world. You ever seen that meme on the internet where it's like a whole bunch of different characters from old school cartoons, Transformers, GI Joe, whatever? They all were holding floppy disk, and it's like back then a floppy disk could save or destroy the world. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it still could. I mean, like you probably could load the nuclear codes into a floppy disk if you really wanted to. Don't do that. But you probably could. I don't know where you're going to get a device that can use a floppy disk these days. Maybe at an auction, like an antique auction, but still, you get what I'm saying. Uh, I've used a floppy disk before, long time ago. I think it was to play some demo of some old game. Yeah, on an old computer, back when computers still had drives for floppy disk. Although I'm not particularly certain that's what this is in this picture. Nope, yep, that's pretty much what it is. It is a floppy disk. Okay, well, maybe it's more like an Atari cartridge, right? Because they have like Teletron 1 kind of looks like an Atari, like an old Atari with the joystick and everything. That's what it looks like to me. So maybe that's an Atari style cartridge that they're using to power up Teletran 1. No, that would be really funny, and that's kind of what it looks like. And then we have, again, Jetfire, right? This is Jetfire, right? Because I know he's been called like multiple different names across different locales, but whatever. We're still going with Jetfire for now. And he's looking at all these schematics of different vehicles, and he's like, until the day we can gather enough energy to return, I have found you new forms, ones that the creatures of this earth will find familiar. And he's looking like that one what's that one picture on the internet where like you see all these different calculations on screen and a guy like look at them and then he does something with all the calculations. I don't know. You know what I'm getting at? Not, I don't even know if I know what I'm getting at, but I think you get the idea. And then he's like, the computer, Teletran 1, can piece you all together to full strength. And in the picture, we got, again, Jetfire standing over at the computer, looking at schematics of vehicles. And then there's Optimus Prime line over here, and you can see what I think is Starscream's blaster, arm blaster, just kind of sitting there. And then, yeah, the robots start getting up. Or, well, they're being reconfigured by the computer. And Spike's like, over here quick, and they start, Spike and Carly are trying to run. Okay, and here we go, Jetfire and Starscream. Jetfire's like, Starscream, my old friend. And Starscream's being rebuilt here. I lost my page a second ago. I'm gonna have to find it again. So yeah, now that I found my page again, Jetfire's like, Starscream, my old friend. I have not seen you for centuries. As Starscream's being rebuilt, and you can see Bumblebee's body on the ground there too. Just kind of unconscious, lifeless, and status lock, or yeah, that's what it was called at one point. Status lock is what they call that. I remember that because the Transformers Armada video game on PlayStation 2, when you died, per se, you didn't really die. You just went in the status lock and then would get repaired and you were back. At least that's how they portrayed it in the game. And yep, I was right. They're going with the Jetfire name. And Starscream's like, Jetfire, comrade. Thank you for waking me. You can see Spike and Carly in the background being all shocked. And Starscream's saying again to Jetfire, I'm glad yeah, he's saying, I'm glad you've picked the right side. And he blasts Bumblebee's face. Yeah, if Bumblebee wasn't unconscious, he probably would have felt that. And then we got Jetfire panicking, saying, What are you doing? And Starscream's like, don't you see the markings I wear proudly on my wings? Wake up, old friend. We have been at war for the past 100 years. And Jetfire's like, but, yeah, Starscream's just like, stand aside and let me do what must be done. And then he goes and just starts blasting everything, apparently. And Jetfire's still trying to stop him. Jetfire's like, stop, and Starscream's like, out of my way! And Jetfire says, this is madness! No, Jetfire, this is Sparta. Sorry, I shouldn't have done the meme. Yeah, no. This is Cybertron. No, they're not on Cybertron, they're on Earth now. It doesn't work the same way. The meme doesn't work the same way. You know what I'm saying? And after Jetfire tells Starscream that this is madness, Starscream's like, exactly. And then he just like, yeah, he blasts Jetfire in the not the chest, but like the middle of his torso, or well, you know what I mean, like right through the middle, through the cockpit of his jet mode, basically. And Starscream goes, "I'm surprised at you, Jetfire, showing weakness. What a waste." And Jetfire's like, "Starscream, no, this is not what I wanted," as Jetfire's slowly dying. And Starscream's pointing over at the Autobot logo, on what I think is Prowl. And Starscream's like, "Trust me when I say this marking is a sign of true evil." And Starscream's like, "We must be vigilant on wiping it out." And no, that's Jazz. That's not Prowl. That's Jazz. He's about to blast Jazz's face off. And yep, no, he doesn't get away with it because it looks like Optimus Prime's getting up and ripping Starscream's blasters off, or at least one of them. And there's that classic quote from Optimus Prime: "Never!" Except he's doing it to Starscream instead of Megatron this time. And Optimus is like, "Shooting beings where they lie helpless. Starscream, I thought you were a warrior." And Starscream, doing his Starscream thing, is like, "Unlike you, Optimus Prime, I do whatever it takes." And you got Spike in the background going, "Whoa." And I'm like, "Whoa." And now Starscream and Optimus are basically just wrestling all over the place. And Spike and Carly are trying to run for their lives. And as they're running, Carly says, "Spike, wait, he's gonna see." And Optimus is like, "What are you?" And Spike's like, I'm Spike." And Optimus is like, "Get behind me, small creatures." And Starscream's freaking out and starting blasting all over the place. And he's like, "Smelting Autobot!" I wish I could do like the Cobra Commander voice for Starscream. Of course, I can't really do voices, but whatever. And then we see Ratchet getting up and being like, "Don't even think about it, buddy." And he just like kicks Starscream in the shoulder, in the shoulder, right between the wing and the shoulder. That's gotta hurt. The Starscream just kind of goes flying. Optimus is saying to Ratchet, "Ratchet!" And Ratchet says, "Optimus, it's good to see you," as Spike and Carly are still trying to run away. Thundercracker. Yeah, I think that's Thundercracker, but it might be Skywarp. They basically look the same. He's like, "Scatter, Autobots!" And he starts blasting off. Optimus Prime's telling the Autobots to take cover. Optimus and Ratchet are hiding behind a rock, I guess. Yeah, it's Skywarp. I thought it was Thundercracker, but Thundercracker and Skywarp look a lot alike. Okay, I know one's purple and one's blue, but they still. I know Thundercracker's the blue one, Skywarp's the purple one, but like, come on, they look so much alike. They're just Starscream in different colors. Still love them though. The Secrets are some of the most entertaining Transformers there ever have been. Did that make any sense the way I said that? Probably not. Starscream's like on the ground, leaning against what I think is Teletron 1, and he's like, "Skywarp, Teletron 1 is reconstructing us randomly. Bring our fellow warriors over here." And Skywarp's like on it, and he starts pushing Soundwave's not really dead, but just like status lock, lifeless body towards Teletron 1. No, he's not pushing, he's dragging. Same thing. So now we got the Decepticons trying to get first dibs on being reconstructed. Ratchet's like, "Just our luck, the Decepticons got activated first." And Optimus goes, "Too many of them have been awakened. We must retreat." And Ratchet's like, "But our brothers." Optimus like, "My new form, there should be some sort of trailer. Can you load our warriors in there?" And Teletron Run, I think that's Teletron Run. No, wait, no, it's actually pointing the Ratchet. Ratchet's like, it'll be tight, but, and then they got a trailer, like, just, like, sitting on top of, like, everybody's bodies. And Optimus is looking shocked for whatever reason. Oh, he found his gun. Then he goes, go! And they start running towards the, trailer, or Ratchet's running towards the trailer, and Optimus is running towards his gun. And Soundwave's getting up. It sounds like extermination protocol. And the look on Skywarp's face in this picture is priceless. I wish I could share the actual pictures from this here, but I can't do that in good faith. But like, oh my god, his face is just like priceless with the smile he's got. It is the most smiley smile that ever did smile. I mean, this is hilarious. Just the look. I mean, it's a serious. Again, the comic's more of a serious comic, kinda, but like Skywarp's face is hilarious. Just the way it looks. And Soundwave's like, activate. Or I guess it would sound more like, activate. No, that doesn't sound right. Man, I used to have a fairly good idea of how to do Soundwave's voice. Activate. No, that ain't right either. But you get the idea. He's like, activate. And he aims his shoulder cannon at Optimus and just starts popping off shots as Optimus is running across the I was gonna say running across the map, but this ain't Call of Duty. This is Transformers. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's popping off shots at Optimus Prime. Boom! A big explosion goes off, and Optimus is falling over, and his gun's flying through the air. Ratchet's like, Optimus, as he tries to load all the Autobots into the trailer, all the different body parts that are lying around. I think I see parts of Hound and Jazz again. Possibly Ironhide, or maybe Cliff Jumper, and he's carrying Wheeljack in his arms. Ratchet is carrying Wheeljack in his arms. And Optimus is just like down on the ground as explosions are going off and flames are going all over him. And Optimus is like squinting really hard to try to see what's going on, and he's like his eyes open up wide and he's in shock. He's like, Bumblebee! And yeah, Bumblebee looks pretty messed up here. Bumblebee's face is essentially non-existent right now. Like he does not have a face now. He is not only is he beat up. I mean, his face is gone. His face is gone. And then you hear someone going, "Oh no!" And I actually think I talked to him as saying that. And Spike's looking at it, and Optimus is crying over Bumblebee's lifeless body, which at this point probably is lifeless. I mean, I'm sure, given that it's a comic book and Transformers, they hopefully revive them. But anyway, yeah, Bumblebee's dead. There's you don't come back from having your face completely obliterated. There is no face there anymore. And then Starscream jumps Optimus Prime and starts strangling him, and he says, "Look at this fool, mourning over the weakest of them all." That's low to say about Bumblebee. You're not entirely wrong, though. Bumblebee, for all intents and purposes, was one of the weakest Autobots, but he was also like one of the most good guys of all the good guys in the Autobots. You know what I mean? He's a scout for a reason. He's like, because like he served his purpose, and it's always sad to see something bad happen to Bumblebee. Well, but sometimes it's sad to see good things happen to Bumblebee too, because I don't know if you remember, but so many years back when the live action Michael Bay movies for Transformers came out, there was something called the Yellow Terror. And if you don't know what that is, basically it's you would go into a Walmart or a Target, and every toy in the toy aisle was a Bumblebee. A yellow Camaro. That's all you saw was yellow Camaros with black stripes on them. The same exact Bumblebee toy for the most part, up and down the whole action figure aisle. That's all you saw. It was Bumblebee here, here, and there, and there, and everywhere. Of course, Bumblebee was originally not a Camaro. He was a Volkswagen Beetle, but I don't mind them having different alt mode vehicles from time to time. I'm just saying there was a lot of black and white Camaros that turned into Bumblebee on churn the robots on the shelves back then. Yeah. See. Before then, the Yellow Terror was when a toy made of white plastic with yellow and start turning yellow. After then, the Yellow Terror was Bumblebee everywhere in the store, everywhere you went. And then eventually that kind of slowed down a bit, and now the Yellow Terror went back to being when a toy that's white plastic starts to fade again and turn yellow. So we came full circle, you know what I'm saying? And here we have Starscream trying to restrain Optimus, and Optimus is reaching out for his gun, and Starscream's like, Soundwave, help me! And Soundwave just like ejects Ravage. He's like, Ravage, activate. And the cassette bot Ravage, the little panther looking dude, yeah, he is a cat. Anyway, he gets ejected out of Soundwave's chest, transforms into his really cool, menacing, I guess you would call it a Black Panther or a leopard or something. I'm not sure exactly what animal he's based on, but he's a cat. He's a cat. And he's a very vicious cat. And he's even growling in the scene. And as Optimus Prime is reaching for his gun, as Starscream is trying to claw out Optimus Prime's optics. Like he's literally clawing at Optimus Prime's eyes. He's trying to claw them out. Reminds you of that scene from I think it was, the Transformers Armada game where Starscream's like, I'll rip out your optics! Before you shoot him out of the sky and he goes, boom. But that was in the game. And Optimus is just like, ah! And Spike starts running off, and Carly's like, Spike, what are you doing? And he's like, Spike's like, Carly, just push. And Carly's like, we don't even know what side he's on. And Starscream's like, Ravage, rip out his eyes. See, I'm used to Transformers using words like optics when they refer to other robots. Like, rip out his optics, But whatever. They went for eyes in this one. And then Optimus manages to grab his gun because Harley and Spike pushed it towards him. And then Optimus just completely obliterates Ravage. He just straight up no scopes Ravage. Well, okay, he didn't hit him in the head, he hit him in the shoulder, so Ravage probably ain't dead. Then again, maybe, I don't know. And then Soundwave's like, no! And then Optimus knocks Starscream off of him. And Skywarp shows up and he's like, just die already. He's about to stomp Optimus Prime's head out. Optimus Prime rolls away. Optimus is like, I'm sorry, Teletron, we are outnumbered and outgunned. Thundercracker. Okay, there's Thundercracker and Reflector or whatever getting repaired. Okay, so who was the one with the orange windshield on his chest? I can't remember who that was now, because that wasn't Reflector. For some reason, I was thinking that was Reflector, but that can't be right. And in the next scene, Optimus is like, I have no choice. And he goes boom, and he just blasts. Yeah, he just blasts Teletron 1 into oblivion so that the other Decepticons can't get rebuilt. And Starscream's like, no! His Thundercracker falls apart. And we got Ratchet there holding the doors open on the back Optimus trailer. And he's like, Optimus, we're loaded up. And all the different Autobots are just like shoved in there. And Ratchet's like, whoa. And Optimus Prime comes running towards him. And he's carrying Spike and Carly. And he's like, yeah, he's just like running. And he's like, and Starscream's like, what is your malfunction, Soundwave? And Soundwave's over there like He's just like petting Ravage. He's like, power low. Scott's like, we all need power. Our energon reserves are nearly empty. And Ratchet starts transforming, and Optimus is like, yeah. Optimus is telling the Autobots to transform. He says, Ratchet, transform. And Stark's like, we'll deal with that later. They're getting away. And Optimus goes to truck mode. Ratchet goes to ambulance mode. And then, yep, they go transform and roll out. And yeah, so the trailer is hooked up to Optimus. We got that rat. Yeah, that's a cool ambulance mode for Ratchet. It actually looks. It looks a little different, but it looks really neat like that. The ambulance style mode. I mean, I know he's almost always been an ambulance, but I do like this particular style of ambulance they went with here. And I was like, wait, that's a cliff. And Spike's like, we're driving off. Ah! And then they just drive straight out of the hangar door. Spike and Carly going, ah! And Optimus and Ratchet land on a rocky ramp thing on the other side. And they keep driving off. Ratchet's like, Optimus, what in Spark's name is in your cab? And Optimus is like, I'm not sure. These small creatures must be the natives of this place. And you can see, like, Carly and Spike going, hi. And then there's, like, a sound going off, and they're like, what's that sound? And yep, it's Starscream flying around, blasting at them. Sheriff's like, you fools are weaker than us in every way. You don't deserve the function. And he's just, like, shooting off lasers and rockets and stuff at Ratchet and Optimus. And Jetfire's waking up and he's like, ugh, and he's like got Energon leaking out all over, out of his mouth, out of his chest. I'm surprised he's alive. I thought he was dead. And he's like, what? Optimus. And yep, there's Skywarp chasing after him too. And Jetfire's like, I'm coming! And he starts transforming into a space shuttle jet mode thing. Ratchet gets hit pretty bad, and he's like, we've got to find cover. We can't take another hit like that. And Starscream's like, what? And you can see Skywarp in the background. And yep, we got big explosion going off because Jetfire's showing up to save the day. And Jetfire's just like, damn you for making me do this, Starscream! Language, Jetfire. Starscream's just like, die, traitor! And they get into a dogfight between Starscream and Jetfire. And yeah, Starscream and Skywarp are just blasting Jetfire all up. And Jetfire's on fire. And Jetfire's flying down about to crash somewhere. Scarp's like, why do you... No, it's Starscream. Scarp's like, Scarp, why do you stop the hunt? And yeah. Skywarp's like, Starscream, my Energon! Starscream's going, we've never been closer to wiping him out for good. Press on! Scarp goes, I'm about to run into the ground. We must turn back. And Starscream's like, transforming back to robot mode, and he's like, sleep with one eye open, Optimus, as he turns back to robot mode. And he's like, I'm coming for you! As, yep, Starscream and Skywarp are flying off to recover their energy, I guess, Energon. And yeah, Optimus, Ratchet, Jetfire, and the Optimus's trailer full of Autobot parts are running off into the night for safety, I guess. And Spike's like, here it is, pull in to the left. Or was that Optimus saying that? Optimus is They're like, "Where are you taking us? Is this the old quarry? Jim and I used to sneak out here and mess with the abandoned equipment. It made for a great hiding place." So that's uh, Spike talking. Optimus, Ratchet, and Jetfire all meeting at the old quarry. This seems like the kind of place the Constructicons would love to be. And Optimus turns back to robot mode, and Carl's like, "Wow!" And Optimus is like, "Jetfire." And Jetfire's just like, he's in robot mode, but he's pretty beat up. I mean, he's on fire. He's stuck in the ground because he, I guess, kind of nosedived into the ground. And Optimus is looking at him, all worried. We got Jetfire going, "I am gravely injured, Optimus." And Jetfire goes, "You must forgive me. I have been away for centuries. I didn't know about this war. I didn't know you were in the new prime." And Optimus goes, "I remember the day you left our home to find a way to save it." Jetfire goes, "And you were so young then." Optimus is saying, "Much has changed since you left our planet." All for the worst. As Jetfire slowly begins to die. Poor guy. "It's alright, Jetfire. It's alright. I can help." Optimus is like saying that, and then because he wants to help save Jetfire, and he's even opening his chest to get the Matrix out. And Ratchet says, "Optimus." Ratchet says, "The Matrix can heal, but it can't stop the inevitable." Jetfire is holding hands with Optimus, and Jetfire saying, "Prime, I swear I did not know." And Optimus looking very sad, and like if he had the ability to make tears, he'd be crying right now because he does look very sad. He's like, "You have nothing to apologize for, old friend. You have done well." And Jetfire says, "No, I have not. Centuries of searching for healing for our home, and nothing." Jetfire continues to say, "Has anything changed? Is there any hope, Prime?" And Optimus says, "I do not know." And Jetfire says, I have failed in my mission. Cybertron will die. Everything will die." And Optimus kneels over Jetfire as Jetfire slowly dies a painful death. Poor Jetfire. They already killed him. Poor guy. And back at the Ark, Starscream and Soundwave are having a bit of an argument, while Soundwave's also like gently holding Ravage, and Skywarp's just standing there like wondering if he wants to be a part of this. Uh Starscream's yelling at Soundwave. He's like, "What do you mean it can't fix us?" And Soundwave says, "Teletron Run is damaged beyond our current capabilities of repair. We need Energon and raw materials to bring it back to 1% functionality. We are the only Decepticon warriors for now." And Starscream's like, "Well, how do we fix it?" And Soundwave says, "I sent Laserbeak to scout for resources that we can convert into the kind of fuel we need. He has sent me the coordinates of possible sources of Energon." Skywarp is looking at Starscream in a judgmental manner, very judgmental. And Starscream's like, "Why are you all looking at me?" And Starscream says, "You have no." Starscream Soundwave says, "You have the most Energon reserved." The Soundwave continues, "Thus the harvesting is up to you. It's what Meg." And Starscream's like, "Do not say his name. I am the leader of the Decepticons now." Well, what? Did Megatron trip and fall again? Okay, he's just like, "I'm the leader of the Decepticons." Every time anything happens, Starscream's gotta be like, "I am the leader of the Decepticons now." And then nobody listens to him anyway. And he's like, "I will do this for you, my loyal soldiers." Then we're back at the job site, where yeah, Sparkplug. Yeah, they're calling him Sparky, but yeah, it's pretty sure he used to be called Sparkplug. He says, "Quitting time finally." And yeah, the other guy who I think again they said his name was Davey, right? Or was it Danny? I don't remember. He's like, "Hey, Sparky, I just wanted to. How do I say this?" He's like, "I know you know I care about you, right?" And yeah, it was Davy. And Sparks ah, shut the hell up, Davy. Davy's like, that's why I gotta be honest with you. Spike needs you, your support. I know it's been rough, but and then yep, Sparks like, Dave, what the hell do you know about it? Have you gone through what I went through? You can tell Sparklet's not exactly the happiest guy. Davy's like, of course not. That's not what I meant. And then we go, Spike's dad going, then maybe you should keep your naive opinions to yourself. And we hear a boom sound, and they're like, the hell? And Starscream shows up and starts wrecking the place. Go by yourself, they say. Do all the work, they say, Starscream says. And then, yep, you got the guys on the ground like, what? And someone's like, well, I'm too tired. I'm wounded too. I'm here having to do all this by myself. And Starscream's in a bad mood too. And Davy's like, let's get out of here. And Sparky's like, Dave, wait. Starscream's like, what's this now? Are you the creatures that live in this place? As he chases after Davy. Oh no, this ain't gonna be good. And they're like, no! And Davy gets picked up, and Starscream's like, so fragile. And then, yep, he just murders the guy. He basically murders, yep, he murders the guy. And he's like, so pathetic. So yeah, Starscream just murdered a guy. And then, yep, they got an interesting illustration here at the end of like what looks like a broken Optimus Prime toy. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so far so good. This is the first time that I've actually bothered to start reading the new Transformers comic books. The last ones I was reading were from the Shattered Glass or Shattered Glass 2 or something. But I don't remember much of it anymore because I never finished it. So I might have to get back to that. But yeah, that was interesting, and I gotta say, it's good. And again, it's got some neat artwork. I'm gonna have to recommend it. I mean, I'm a big Transformers guy, so I'm kind of biased. I mean, I kind of have to recommend it because I am a big Transformers guy, you know. But yeah, pretty good. I'm definitely gonna continue reading this. That's for sure. I hope you like the little spins I put on it throughout, talking about it and stuff and reading it. That's all I really got to say on that part. But yeah, pretty neat. What do you think? Yeah, his comics are better than I thought they would be. The newer ones, not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, so that's all I really got to say. Yeah, I mostly just really like the artwork on that man. That was cool looking. I recommend it. But I mean, I'm sure anyone watching this is probably a Transformers fan as it is, so they're probably also already people who have read it. But whatever. If you haven't read it, I do recommend it. It is pretty cool. It's and I have heard before going into this it was going to be a bit more brutal than most Transformers media. So you know, yeah. If you haven't read this series yet, be warned. There's some blood. Starscream brutally murders a guy at the end of the comic. Oh yeah, that's all I got to say now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe follow the channel and let me know what you think in the comments. I think that's all I'm going to say for now. Yeah, thanks and bye for now.